Hello, and welcome to the BYU Family History Library webinar series. We're glad you could join us today. I'm Olivia Tuller, and I'll be your host for this webinar. If you have technical difficulties during the webinar, please use the chat box and I can address your concerns. You are welcome to use the chat box during the webinar for comments, insights, and questions. However, all questions will be addressed at the end of the presentation. Our next webinar is on July 14th with James Tanner. He will be giving a presentation entitled Using the Internet Archive, archive.org for Serious Genealogical Research. If you would like to access a previous webinar, please visit our webinar index on our website or search on our YouTube channel. All of our webinars are recorded and uploaded by the following Monday for your convenience. We also post links to recordings and other updates on our Facebook and Twitter accounts. For today's webinar, we are pleased to hear from Bob Taylor, who will be giving a presentation on Research with the Family History Guide. Before we begin, here's a little bit about Bob. Bob earned his bachelor's degree from Brigham Young University and master's degree from California State University, Los Angeles, both in music education. A career change led him to instructional design and technical writing, where he has worked for large technology corporations such as Nobel, Intel, and Western Digital. At Intel University, he redesigned key training courses for employees and managers worldwide, as well as teaching management courses in Washington, Arizona, Oregon, California, and Utah. He has authored many online and written learning systems, helping others accelerate learning in technology, music, and family history. Bob has been a featured presenter at RootsTech 2016, 2018, 2019, and 2020. He has also presented at the Family History Library in Salt Lake City, Pikes Peak Library, Colorado Fair, Riverton Family Search Library, UVTA-GG, and the BYU Family History Conference, in addition to numerous family history fairs in the United States. If Bob is ready, we will turn the time over to him.
Okay, welcome everyone and a pleasant afternoon. This is Research with the Family History Guide, and you can find the Family History Guide at www.thefhguide.com. It's a free website. It launched about 7 years ago, and we've had visitors from over 150 countries. So today we'll be talking about ways that you can either get started with your research using the Family History Guide or to advance and accelerate your research. Sometimes people ask us, is the Family History Guide for beginners or for more experienced genealogists? And the answer to that is both. So hopefully you'll find something here today of use for you, no matter what your background is in family history and genealogy. So let's get started. I have a brief slide set here, and I will be switching back and forth between the slide set and the actual website. And I won't be talking much about navigation. So if you need some more refreshers or some information about navigating through the Family History Guide website, you'll want to check out the previous BYU Family History Library webinar that I did called Introduction to the Family History Guide. And that has a lot of tips about navigation, resources, how to find things, how to use the menus, and that type of thing. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started here. So here's what we will cover in our session this afternoon. An introduction to resource and using sources. Using memories for research. This refers to photographs, digital files, documents, stories, that type of thing. Basics of research, handy research tools, using the country pages in the Family History Guide, doing United States research, doing research in US states and counties, and we'll also see that this can apply to English counties and Canadian provinces. Doing descendancy research, DNA research, and getting help. Okay. So first of all, let's talk about introduction and sources here. So I'm going to go to the website now and give you a look at the intro to research that we have here. So when I click on the website, I'm going to go to the countries menu here at the top, and all of these menus, when you hover over them, they produce drop downs. So if I go to Intro to Research right here, scroll down a bit, there's an introductory video, and then there are links here where you can get to basically the projects that you need to cover as you're doing research and learning about research techniques. Research around the world, knowledge bases, ethnic research. So this is a good kind of a summary area where you can spend time yourself and get more in depth with research techniques in the Family History Guide. Sources. So as you get used to doing research, one of the most important things is finding sources and documenting the sources that you're going to be using in your research. So we're going to take a look at Family Search Project 1, goal number 8, for a couple of resources that could prove useful for you here. So in the top, we have Family Search, and we're going to go to project number 1 here, Family Tree. And we have a list of goals in every project. Across the top, there's a list of goals. We're going to hop over to goal number 8 here, add sources. I'm going to scroll down just a bit here, and I've marked a couple of these. There is actually a way that you can learn how to mark your own stars here to help remind you what articles or videos you've read or which you want to refer to, and that can be done in the online tracker help here. So if you want to learn more about that, you can do that at a later point. So throughout this webinar, I'll be referring to some examples inside the Family History Guide. These are links to different articles and videos, some of my favorites, and I think are very apropos for what we're trying to cover here this afternoon. This is from genealogy.com, Sourcing Key to Family History Detective Work. So we'll open that up and just scroll through it briefly. So it's a key to your family history and family detective work. And it covers these various topics. Why doesn't everyone do it? Sometimes it's hard, but it is so necessary. It can actually save you time, and it gives others more confidence in your research. This is a very important point here. You may know or think you know what you've covered in particular research that you've done, but it is really helpful to others so that they can pinpoint what progress you've made, which avenues you've tried, which sources you've looked at. And then here's some simple tips on how to source your information here. So this is a very concise but handy article that you can read in terms of sources for your genealogical information. And these links open up in separate windows, so you can close the window as you go on to the next one here. Okay, here is an article by James Tanner on the Rejoice and Be Exceeding Glad blog post site. So we're going to click that and scroll down a bit. And this article dives into more depth, and the focus here is on the Family Search Family Tree. And as James has pointed out many times, one of the most important things we can do to help keep Family Search Family Tree in order, because it is a shared tree, is to document and create clear sources so that people know what we are putting up in the tree, and we don't have nearly as much back and forth contention, that type of a thing. So this blog article is a good example of how to use principles of research and target them towards Family Search, Family Tree in terms of the sources that we use. And if we scroll down a little bit farther, we have a topic here, genealogical proof standard. Let's take a look at this second article here. This is from Genealogy Explained. So I'll open up the article here by Mark McDermott. What I like about this is that he has a really handy flow chart. Sometimes we think of the genealogical research process or the GPS, genealogical proof standard, and we think that it's somewhat complicated, and it can appear that way, but this handy flow chart really helps us gather at a visual glance the different elements of the GPS. So you can follow the flow chart through and see what types of decisions are being made, what to do if yes or no or not sure on any particular item, how to proceed to the next point. I thought this was a pretty good way of explaining the GPS, the genealogical proof standard there. So as we go through the family history guide, you obviously will have different favorites and different things that you want to experiment. But what we've done is we've assembled what we consider our best of the best, or best practices articles and videos, so that you don't have to spend extra time kind of recreating the wheel or searching from scratch to find things that would be useful for you. We've assembled them and put them in logical order so you can find them easily and use them in your research. Okay, let's go on to the next. We've covered intro to research and using sources. Second point, using memories for research. Gather your records. We'll look at project 2, memories, goal 1. Gather records from others and interview family members and others. So we have goals 1, 2, and 3 in project 2. So let's go take a look at that. Family search, project 2, memories. Okay, we are in goal number 1, gather your records. So I'm going to scroll down here. And here's a nice summary article from Family Search called Gather Family Information. And when I click that, it's going to give me a pretty good step-by-step introduction to what types of documents should you look for at home. Your own documents, whether they might be medical records, birth certificates, marriage, death, certificates of ancestors, books and albums, personal writings, even family traditions. Collecting and notating those are very important as well. So this is a great place to start off collecting memories, the things you may have in your very own house. And you can help others do the same type of process in their homes, whether they're your relatives or friends or whatever. All right, we're going to jump down just a bit here. Oh, actually, that's the only one that I marked there. So let's go over to goal number 2, gather records from others. And Family Search, how to gather family information. This actually jumps back into the same article, but a little bit farther down. Here are some tips for how to gather family information from other people, relatives, people that you know, so forth, and links to additional articles. So those are some helpful resources there as well. Let's hop over to goal number 3, interviewing relatives. And this can be a wonderful way to preserve family history information. Sadly, many times family members graduate to the next sphere. They pass on and take a lot of wonderful knowledge with them that hasn't been shared necessarily. And so wherever we can, we want to enable the recording and documentation process for memories and documents for those in our family who are more elderly. So goal number 3, interview relatives. And here are a couple of great resources here from thoughtco.com, 50 interview questions to ask. And you can see kind of a cartoon graphic here. Like, how did you meet your spouse? What is your earliest childhood memory? What was your school experience like? What world events had the greatest impact on your family? And here you go, 1 through 50. So these are some great ways. You can practice these amongst your own family members and then try them out with someone else that you might want to interview more formally. And from MyHeritage, we have tips for interviewing family members. So once you get an interview question list together, how should you proceed for the interview? What preparation steps do you need to do? Are there things you want to avoid or things you want to emphasize? How do you record it? How do you set up the arrangements and so forth? Even things like open-ended questions versus closed-ended questions. So here's some great tips in this MyHeritage blog article as well. Okay, so that takes us through the memories and gathering information from others. Research basics. Okay, so we get organized here like this lady is trying to do with her binders. Learning the basics, kind of a gateway to what we will do with research, and forming a strategy. So we'll be looking in project number 4, Discover, goals 1, 2, and 3. All right. So here we go, project number 4, Discover. Now I might add that in these different learning paths here, Ancestry, MyHeritage, and Find My Past, there are also goal 4s. So they're called research here. Goal 4 for MyHeritage research and 4 for Find My Past. But for now, for purposes of illustration, we'll use this Family Search Project 4 Discover, which is research. Okay, we are in goal number 1, get organized. From Family Locket, FL, Family History and Getting Things Done, Part 3, Organization, an article from 2019. So the thing I like about this, other than Family Locket articles are really well written and researched, is you have an emphasis on physical filing systems that take you through step-by-step of the pros and cons and how to get organized from the physical point of view. And then it also covers digital filing systems, how you would keep things organized online on your computer, in the cloud, and so forth. Another one, Family History Organization. This is a video. And one thing I want to point out here is you'll have throughout the Family History Guide, there are probably over 300 of these little info buttons here. And the info button basically opens up a list of topics inside a video so that you can hop into those topics directly without having to scroll through the video. So when I click on the I button, I get basically the topics that are covered. So you can look at these, see what might be interesting at a glance, and then just jump right into whatever topic, and it'll fast forward to that spot within the particular video that you're looking at. So that's a bit about the info buttons. We'll see more of them later. Goal number 2, okay, learn the basics. Here's a good starting article, Top 10 Tips for Starting Your Family History. This is from the Society of Genealogists, and you can see the topics here: working backwards in time, asking family members, taking notes, checking out resources on the web, meeting other family historians, understanding what's been done before. So these are great step-by-step resources, and they go in pretty much logical order, starting with what you have and then reaching out to others. Good article that I would recommend there. Also a video by James Tanner, BYU Family History Library, Fundamentals of Research. So I'm going to use the I button there. And you have research methodology, learning about records, objectives, concepts, steps to follow, and so forth. So those are all some great materials there. Let's go over to number 3, form a strategy. We also have these introductory videos here. So these are just about 4 or 5 minutes long. And whatever topic you're on, when you see this introductory video, you can watch that for a brief 4 or 5 minute introduction to whatever concept that you're working with in research. So here, we're going to go to a family search video, the research process. And many of you have seen this before, but it's got this 5-step process here where you gather, you choose information, find, evaluate, share, and it goes around kind of in a pentagon or a circular arrow format there. So very key content there. You can play that video. It's not too long. And there are other videos on the wiki that you can link to there as well. Riverton Introduction to Genealogy from 2018. This is also helpful. And you'll notice that they have a 5-step process here, but this is a little bit different. Identify what you know about your family, decide what you want to learn, select records to search, obtain and search the record, and use the information. This is a little bit different take on that 5-step process. So I like both of them. This one is very interesting because it kind of prompts you from one to the next. So I like that approach as well. So 3 solid pillars of research here: get organized with your materials, learn the basics, and form the strategy for what you want to accomplish in your research. And there's other videos and articles that dive in more deeply. For instance, a research plan that's outlined by Krista Cowan from Ancestry here. Amy Johnson Crow has a wonderful WANDER method that she's put together, and this is an acronym for terms and skills that you can use, techniques in the research process. So lots of other great resources there as well. Okay, let's go to research tools. So we have general tools, partner-specific tools, and we have knowledge bases and ethnic research. So I'm going to go back up to project number 4. And if we go over here a little ways, you'll see this FS in parentheses here. That means that these particular tools are specific to Family Search. So if I click goal number 5 here, Family Search Research Tools, one thing I'm going to do is there is a Close Choices button on every header area for projects in the Family History Guide. So when I click that, it basically hides all the intervening text on the page. So I'm going to click it, and now you see we have just the choice titles here for what you can explore. So this particular goal covers Family Search genealogies, the Family Search catalog, books online, historical images, the research wiki, and surname lists. And you can click any one of these to open the text back up and go step by step, what to do one step at a time, and additional resources. Some people like to follow the steps. Some people like to read the additional articles as well or watch a video. It's a flexible learning system that will help you focus your efforts in whatever way you would like to do. Okay, so that's partner specific. Let's jump over to our other partners here, Ancestry, and go to project 4 there, research. And you'll see some Ancestry specific things. For example, if you wanted to improve on how to analyze your search results that you're getting from your Ancestry searches, you could click that goal. And here you have step-by-step instructions for how to deal with record search results, redoing searches, using exact search parameters, so forth. Again, MyHeritage also has a research menu, and you have Find My Past with the research menu as well. So those are some partner-specific resources that you can take advantage of. And we talked about those here. Let's talk about knowledge bases and ethnic research for a minute. First of all, knowledge bases. I'm going to go back here to the Family Search, and you'll see knowledge base. This is also included in the other ones. So Ancestry has a knowledge base, but it's all the same knowledge base. Basically, these are just shared across the different partners. So Family Search, I'm going to open up the knowledge base here. And in the research knowledge base, this one is focused towards general research and United States topics. So across the top, I have a list of topics here, and I can click any one of them and open up a particular topic of interest. For example, if I'm working on solving research brick walls, I could click that. And here you have these bite-sized bullets. I liken them to nuggets of information, and they have the nugget of information and then a source that you can click to find out in context more information about it. Neighbors and relatives cluster research. So the knowledge base for general and United States research is a great valuable resource that you can use to build your research IQ kind of a bit at a time there. And there's a country's knowledge base that we'll get to a little bit later. Let's take a look at the ethnic research. So countries, here we go in the countries menu, ethnic near the bottom. And then it opens up a choice list here for African American, Asian, Basque, Hispanic, Jewish, or Native American. I'll try African American here. And you can see our familiar goals across the top: get started, record sources, slavery resources, breaking through barriers, etc., and the links to articles and videos that you have there. Okay, so that takes us through basic research tools. General tools also, there's a couple more that I want to point out. These are shared across the different partners. So let's take a look at goals 6 and 7 here. I'm going to go back to Family Search Project 4, Discover. Goal number 6, develop search skills. And this is the same for Ancestry, MyHeritage, or Find My Past. I'll open it up and I'll do a close choices here. And first we have an intro video about 5 minutes long to help you work on skills for doing online searches. And here you see a variety of topics. You can use Google, variations in search, how to save search results, and that type of thing. Let's hop over to solving problems. This is a great one here. I'm going to do a close choices. Avoiding common mistakes, understanding potential problems with terms and records. Not all of the records are 100% accurate, and sometimes the terms get us confused. Using evidence to resolve conflicting information. This is very much underused in my opinion. Tools and techniques, creative approaches, thinking outside the box, using photographs to aid your genealogical research, and knowing what alternatives you can try. This is something like breaking through brick walls and trying additional strategies to help accelerate and move your research forward. And then you can open choices again as well. So those are some of the additional shared general topics in the research tools. All right, let's move on. Country pages. All right, so we have a variety of country pages in the Family History Guide, and you can access them by region or all countries or even more countries there. So I'm going to go to the countries menu, and here is the region section. So I could click North America and I could go to any of these countries here. I could click British Isles and go to any of these. For example, if I wanted to go to Ireland, click here and I'm at the Ireland country page with the goals across the top. Very simple to use. There's also an all countries page that has an alphabetical list of all the major countries. And when I say major, that means that these countries have more resources in terms of record sets and supporting documentation, sources, that type of thing. So you could click any of these and go to the corresponding country pages. If you want to find more countries that are not listed up here, you could click this More Countries link over on the left side. And that opens up a very long list of countries by region. So we've got Aruba, for example, and you could find out sources for their Bahamas, whatever your country of interest might happen to be. Okay, so that's regions, all countries, and more countries. United States. Let's spend some time with the United States page. This one is one of the larger areas in the Family History Guide. I can go up here to countries and click United States. And here we have it divided off into sections. So section A, records that are general, location, so forth. B, vital records. C, census. D, immigration. E, military. And F, other records, or religious church records through archives and libraries. So lots of great information there. And this will take a lot longer than I could spend in this webinar to go through this, but there's a wealth of information here in the United States country pages dealing with records. And a lot of these are basic information. So if you're just looking to get familiar with, okay, what are records? How do I use the information in them? You could go to that particular goal. And some of the principles apply no matter what type of records you're experimenting with or using there. And you'll see some of these some of these info buttons here as well that you can use. Okay, so I'll leave it to your exploration to go through and find some of the particulars on those as well. Vital and census records we talked about, and other records, great to explore here. States and counties. Okay, let's take some time going through the different state pages and counties as well. So US state pages, I'm going to go back to the United States page, and just under the Statue of Liberty picture here, you'll find a list of US states. So for example, I could click California, and we have goal number 1, research and records for California research. And closed choices, we see we have research and then California state history as well. Links to articles and videos, and pretty straightforward, similar to what we've done before. Okay, also we have counties available. So if I go just under this partner records heading here, you'll see CA counties. So when I click the CA counties link, I go to the bottom of the page, and here is a list of all of the counties in California. So the legend here is helpful. If I click on the green name link, that takes me to the family search page. A for Ancestry, L for Linkpendium, G for Genealogy Inc., U for US GenWeb, or F if there's a particular Facebook page for that group. So I happen to be from Ventura County, California. So if I click the Ventura title here, it takes me right to the family search page for Ventura County, California genealogy. I can scroll through that. It opens up in a separate window. One site that some people are not familiar with yet, and I think it's a wonderful resource, is Linkpendium. So I'm going to click the Linkpendium site here, the L, and I'm going to scroll down and notice all of the terrific resources you have here. This is just Ventura County research. And I'm scrolling, and I've not even reached the letter M yet. So as you can tell, there's a lot of great resources there. Opens up in a separate window. So these county links are available for every state in the United States, plus Puerto Rico, and well, it has provinces. So you can basically navigate to the state that you want to and find the counties that are linked there. You can get printable map of counties and interactive map as well. So that's a great resource for doing county research. So we've covered United States state pages and US counties. Another thing I want to emphasize here is a tool we have in the Family History Guide called Quick Links. So I'm going to go back here, and you'll notice up in the top here, you'll see some lightning bolts. Wherever you see a lightning bolt in the header, that signifies that there are quick links available. So I'm going to go to goal number 3, vital and census records here. And here we learned about vital records overall. There's birth and adoption records, California marriage records, and death records, so forth. But you'll notice the corresponding lightning bolt here, there's a list of quick links. And a quick link basically is a link that takes you directly to a record collection search screen. So I could click this Family Search California Birth Index, 1905 to 1955. And immediately I go to the corresponding search screen. Notice that I didn't have to wend my way all the way throughout Family Search trying to find, let's see, where am I going to find that search screen? The idea is that you've been looking and reading about articles, watching videos, exploring databases, and so forth. And when you're ready to search, we make it really easy for you because we provide the links right there in line. Ancestry.com. Birth records from select counties, one click there, and you're ready to search. So the quick links are a really handy way to accelerate your research and get you in touch with searching the places you want to search without having to spend extra time looking for where they might be. So these quick links are available not only in US states, but whatever country. So if we go back to Ireland, for example, as an example, I could go to civil registration. I could scroll down a ways, maybe go to the end here. And you see quite a few links here for quick links from Find My Past, Ancestry, and so forth. You can use those as well. Okay, that takes care of states, counties, quick links. England and Canada. Let's hop over to England in the country page here. So in a similar fashion, below the England picture here, we have a list of English counties. So I have a number of ancestors from Devon. I could click the Devon County page. And again, you're going to get goals across the top. And you'll see some of these have quick links available. So you can search records directly and links to your topics here, choices, and links to articles and videos, as well as databases. You don't see this little document icon here, but these are links to terrific websites or databases. For example, the Dusty Doc site has individual resources, parish records, civil records, and so forth for every county in England, as well as all the Australian states and Canadian provinces. So you'll find some wonderful resources here listed below that you can pursue as well in your research. Also, Canadian provinces, I mentioned them just really briefly. We go up here to Canada, and beneath the picture, we find provinces. I could go to Ontario, for example, see the goals across the top, the quick links for record collections. And here we can dive deeper into Ontario research. And if we wanted to look at some quick links, we could do that as well. Birth, marriage, and death. So that opens up a world of possibilities as well. All right. So number 9, DNA projects. In the partner menu, we have DNA projects. We have basic information, we have partner specific information, and then we have some DNA tools. So I'll take you briefly through that and what's available in the Family History Guide there. Family Search does not have a DNA testing kit itself, but it does have some good general information. So what we've done in the Family Search project is we've collected a lot of general type information about DNA. I'm going to open up that project now. Goal number 1, basic genetics and research. Here's a brief introductory video. And here are links to articles and videos that you can watch and learn from there. And this one, DNA testing, what it is and how you can benefit from it. This has an introductory video from Debbie Weaver, who happens to do some work for us at the Sandy Granite Family History Center as well, and is a good proponent of the Family History Guide, I might add. Frequently asked questions, terminology, learn more. So this is kind of a good hub for getting started there. Learn about DNA testing. Basically take a DNA test, what's involved there. And these are general type tools. So if I wanted to learn more from a partner specific angle, for example, if I were taking an ancestry DNA test, I could go here to the Ancestry Project, number 7, and you could take a DNA test here. And this time the information would be geared towards taking an ancestry DNA test with tips, videos, articles, and so forth. DNA matching. Once you've taken a test in Ancestry, this section walks you step through step in order to understand ethnicity estimates. How do you interpret and understand cousin matching material? Reach out to cousins, find information about how you may be a potential match with them, more about matching, and so forth. And MyHeritage, of course, also has its own DNA section here with corresponding match and tool type information. If we go back to Family Search DNA, there is a section on DNA research tools. So let's take a look at a couple of those. So we've got DNA GEDCOM, haplogroups, autosomal on the Genome Mate Pro site, visual phasing, triangulation with your DNA matches. So if you've been doing DNA research for a while, these tips, articles, and videos will be a great way to accelerate your understanding and progress with using DNA to further your family history research. Something I might mention, this is shared across different projects in the Family History Guide. These semi-bold headings here can help you visually recognize at a glance different topics here. So you'll want to keep note or take note as you see those in particular projects. And finally, we get to number 10 here, getting help. Okay, so doing research should not be a single solitary type of experience. You should be able to reach out and get help, mingle with other people online, and find the resources and even help that you need. So there is a help project here in each of the partners. I'll go to project number 6 in the family search menu here. Project 6, help. And I'll just note some of the goals across the top. Get help. This is how to get help with some of your family search questions. How to reach out to genealogical societies to get help. And how to collaborate on your research. So you find other people who may be doing similar research to you. How do you share information with them? How do you get them on board in helping out, or how do you help out with projects that they may be involved with? Okay, so that's the general help, but also we have location-specific help. So if I take a country, I'm just going to randomly pick Denmark, for example. One of the last goals in each of these country or even United States pages is called Get Help. So when I click that, then I'm going to see you have a section on Facebook pages to get answers to your questions, mailing lists, communities, message boards for Danish research, learning about Denmark genealogical societies. So those are all great ways that you can get help no matter where you're doing research or what the topic is. You can join forces with other people who have similar research interests to your own and get faster progress and more meaningful progress, get you out of the stuck mode and get you moving ahead. All right, so that covers steps 1 through 10. A couple small points I might bring out here. Things you'll want to know about in the Family History Guide are the Vault and the online tracker. And basically in the Vault here, we can find resources that are included kind of as an extra added bonus. And these are some things that are secondary or additional in nature. So if I click here and I pick, let's see, interviewing, you have lots of links to articles about interviewing, stories here, articles and videos. You can take any of these, Canadian research, a lot of additional resources there in the Vault so that you can explore that. The online tracker is a wonderful resource. You can create an account and then log in. It's free, of course, and then you can explore a project and you can type your own notes, whatever you want to type in there about what you've been learning. You can move slider bars back and forth to signify where you are in your progress, not started, started, good, or proficient. And that wraps up research with the Family History Guide. There's more that we didn't cover. For example, the United States has a tremendous amount of resources there, as well as the country pages do. And so I would recommend just dive into the Family History Guide a bit at a time. Find pieces of information that you didn't know about, ways to expand your knowledge, and most importantly, to help you find those ancestors that you're trying to connect with so you can complete their stories. And that's it. I'll turn it back over to Olivia.
Thank you so much, Bob, for that wonderful presentation. We're going to open up the chat and the Q&A section for questions. If anybody has any, you can type them in there.
Here's a quote from Michelle Bailey. Hello, Michelle. Michelle is a wonderful family historian, and she's director of the Family History Center in East Texas. I love the Family History Guide. I learned even more tonight as a director of a Family History Center, as well as president of a genealogical society. There is no other tool that helps as much as this, and it's free. Great job, Michelle Bailey. Well, thank you, Michelle. I did not pay Michelle to say any of those things, but she's terrific. Is there a link to this PowerPoint? No, I don't have that on, but you can watch the video. That's a good point though. I may put that up in the trainer section. One thing that I didn't show was the trainers menu, because that's a different topic. However, we do have a video on the BYU Family History Library training with the Family History Guide. So you can find resources talked about a lot in depth there. And I may end up putting that in the training section. Please repeat the www address. Yes, I will. You could always Google the Family History Guide, but the www is www.thefhguide. That's THEFHGUIDE, thefhguide.com. What was the website? That was the website, the Family History Guide. And Missy says, can I contact Michelle? I'll let you sort that out together there. So Olivia shared the link here, thefhguide.com. And as I mentioned before, if you're new to the Family History Guide, you may want to review that video on the BYU Family History Library YouTube channel, Introduction to the Family History Guide, because it has lots of tips on navigation, using menus, how to find things, how to search, and so forth.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you will join us for our next webinar, which is on Thursday, July 14th with James Tanner. He will be giving a presentation entitled Using the Internet Archive, archive.org for Serious Genealogical Research. A recording of this webinar will be made available next week. You can view that on our YouTube channel or on our website. If you have any comments or questions, you can always email us at fhl_webinars@byu.edu or follow Facebook and Twitter. Thank you and have a wonderful week.